they had, TJ Edwards show some promise, start hitting things downhill, being more aggressive, and then Singleton, saw what he was doing and started doing it a little bit. But if you have a
they don't have any hunters.
Nobody wants that they don't have that guy.
Welcome back to the middle. Dan Cilio in for Harry Mays. Barrett Brooks here. I loved our conversation, man. I'm going to continue it here in a second, but I want to throw a stat at you here. By the way, I'm a huge list guy. I love lists. Eagles since 2000, Barrett, have won 14 playoff games. Here's the rest of the teams in the NFC East. Giants 10, Cowboys 3, Washington 1. So since 2000, the Eagles have pretty much doubled up almost the entire division. So this goes to Howie. And this goes to what that front office, people could take a dump on what they've done. They've dominated the division since 2000. They got a Super Bowl in there. Right? They've dominated the division. So when the media in Philly looks at Howie and goes, this guy sucks, he's this, I know there was gaps in there, but I'm saying that front office has a leg to stand on when they're talking about success. 14 postseason wins. Giants are second with 10. Cowboys 3. Washington 1. You can keep saying whatever you want about Howie Roseman, but
he's shown the ability to build teams, but I think he gives himself a little too much credit for the production of these teams on the field.
He's too loud.
Yes. Well, not necessarily loud, but he's one of those guys that will be, I told you so. You know what I'm saying? He loves a lot of attaboys, and he also loves the I told you so. And I don't know if there's any room as far as being a GM for that. You know what I'm saying?
Your results are on the look. Oh, yeah, I told you so. Was in 14 playoff wins, not your.
So you don't have to boast. It's proven product out there. You don't have to
see. That's maybe what I mean by loud, Barrett. Is that he brags about his successes.
No question. Do you not see what I've done? You see what I put together? Yeah, Doug did okay, but I was the reason why. You can't give yourself a data boy for that, man.
Yeah, we hired Doug.
Right, right, yeah.
We brought Doug in. All right, we were talking about Fletcher, and Fletcher's making $18 million. That number's on the cap this year for them. That's a big number. And I was explaining, and you're exactly right, man, because, look, I think when you bring a new system in, to me, he had it ass backwards, yep. Jonathan Gannon. He thought his linebackers were going to make plays, and he put his defensive line in a position to be these slug two-gappers. And I'll explain what Barrett was talking about. When I played at Miami, man, they lined us up in a 3 and a 1, and you hit those gaps. Jimmy believed in penetration because the worst thing that an offensive lineman, he hates this penetration.
No question. Kills all run plays.
That guy gets it. If I'm two-gapping, man, Barrett's like this. Man, Barrett's got a day off.
Yep.
If we're two-gapping, even if I'm running him back and I'm making him, that's a win for him. Even if he lands on his back and he pulls me with him, that's a win for him. But when you're single gap and you're doing what me and Jerome did, bam, you're hitting that gap. Man, you're knocking the plane of the guy pulling. You're knocking scoops and slips off. Man, you screw a play up more with that kind of style of play. If you have the right four guys, now you have to have the right four guys to be able to do that with, to make plays. I went to Tampa, Barrett. I had never played nose guard in my life. I didn't know what the position entailed. I don't know why. I was saying this my second week. Why the frig did they draft me there, man? This is not what I do. I get up the field, make plays, get in the backfield, TFLs and sacks and tackles for loss. I'm here doing this. Bang. Linebackers have to make the play. Bang. I'm going up against Kevin Glover. Bang. I got to keep Kevin from getting up on the back, or Eric Andelsack when he was alive, God rest his soul. Boom, I'm doing that. Wasn't my gig. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of what Fletcher was asked to do. That's why those guys were behind. And that's why, what was it? When they were 2-5, he went to the coaching staff and said, hey, I don't know what we're doing here.
Well, if you put him in a system where if it's a linebacker dominated system, like you look at the Ravens back when they had Ray Lewis. Siragusa was just a block. He's just a block eater upper. He just ate up 2 or 3 guys to try to move.
That's Ray Lewis behind you.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got Suggs, you got Ray Lewis, you got some linebackers out there that can run, that can make some things happen. They had, TJ Edwards showed some promise, start hitting things downhill, being more aggressive. And then Singleton, saw what he was doing and started doing it a little bit. But if you have
they don't have any hunters.
Nobody wants that. They don't have that guy. I tell people all the time, when I used to look across the line of scrimmage and I see Ray Lewis there, I know he could tear some things up. So I knew I had to get to him. And when you look at the Eagles, I don't see much fear in me getting to Alex Singleton. That's my dude too. I love Alex. But at the end of the day, I would love playing against Alex. He's a little guy. I would just hug him. I'd grab him and hug him and keep him close to me, man, all day long. You know what I'm saying? Because he couldn't run through me. I would grab him, bring him into me, and we just take a long walk. You know what I'm saying? Just a long walk, And because
you'd be like Texas two-step. You'd be like Texas two-stepping with the dude, man. Hey, watch this. And you know what? It's like when you get ready to when you see them movies when they're getting ready to kill you. Easy now, dog. Don't go nowhere now. I got you here. Nobody's gonna get hurt. I ain't gonna let you go.
Just suck it up. Just suck it up, man. And but when you have guys like Sam Mills or Hardy Nickerson, Hardy Nickerson would run straight through you, man.
Oh, Hardware came at you, didn't he?
Bro, I remember one time I was cussing, man. I was in there, I was cussing up a storm. And Guy McIntyre turned around and said, hey, you gonna stop all that cussing. I kept on cussing anyways. Hardy Nickerson said, hey, rookie, shut up. Don't you say another word.
Oh, he was that guy.
Bro, and I did just like this. Yes, sir. And went back to the huddle. Didn't say anything. So Guy McIntyre turned around and said, I told you. I didn't say nothing else the entire day, man. None of it. This is my first game playing, too. My first game I played against, my first regular season game was against Tampa Bay in 95. And I was like, yes, sir. Went back to the huddle.
Hey. I got it's a Wilbur Marshall story. So we go up to Gainesville, and Wilbur is an incredible hitter. I mean, this guy knocked the chiclets out of your face, man. He was intimidating. He was.
Chiclets mean teeth, people. He means
teeth. Man. I'll tell you this. When he spoke, everybody on the field, so he hits Alonzo Highsmith, and he knocks his ass down and almost out through the goalpost. And he gets up in his face, and he's talking to Alonzo. And I am standing there, and on the sidelines, I go, hey, what did Wilbur say to you? He goes like this. He told me he was going to kill me. And I said to him, I go, what'd you say back to me? He goes, I told him I believed him.
Exactly.
I told him I believed him.
Certain guys you just didn't play with, man. Like I was playing against the Raiders. And they had time. They had, Chester McLaughlin, God rest his soul.
Oh, yeah.
And Pat Swilling with the Raiders, right? So the first half.
Great pass rusher.
We're killing them, man. We're killing them, man. They can't do anything with us. And I'm pass block against Pat Swilling, and I'm killing. I'm like, I'm kicking your tail, yada, yada, yada. So we going to halftime. And Guy Mack, once again, hey, man, you better stop talking to him, man. Leave him alone. Let a sleeping bear lie. So we walking in, we're going into the locker room. I'm steady talking crazy. Oh, man, I'm kicking your butt. Da, 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 da. Okay. He turned around. He had a high voice, too. Okay.
Yeah.
You about to see Sweet Swill. So Guy Mack turned around and said, I told you to be quiet. Watch. I told you to be quiet. Man, we came out in the second half. Bro, this is my first sack I gave up in my first sack of my career. It happened against the Raiders. Sweet Swill came out. Sweet Swill. That's all I heard as he was passing by. Sweet Swill. I gave up 2.5 sacks, dog, that game.
Wow.
Yes.
Hey, Pat
Swill.
But Pat's a borderline Hall of Famer.
Oh, no question. There's no question about
he
that.
was really great with the Saints, and he was
Yes.
good with the Lions. I don't know what he was with the Raiders, but
He
like
was
you
Sweet
said,
Swill. That's what he was. Sweet Swill with the Raiders. That's what he was.
dude, I'll tell you, man. That's Hey, did you enjoy blocking more in the 3 technique for defenses, a 34 or a 43? Would you rather have a guy on you, or was it harder for you to get up on them backers?
Well, you know what? I like playing against a 3-4 defense because, like, when I was a tackle, the defense.
Because you're uncovered in the 34.
And when I was a guard, yeah. But when I was a tackle, I wanted to play against a 3-4 because I have a guy head up on me, and I knew wherever my head would go, he would have to follow my head because he had two gap to keep me off the linebacker.
That's right. Because he wants to always keep his outside leverage and outside shoulder free.
So I would fake in and move my hips around. So I'd be on run, and that way I get to the outside. So we're running outside. I fake him in and get my body outside, but my head's still inside. And I would, kill guys like that. But then, I went up against guys that, that got the hang of it. So I'm playing against, what's his name? Adolphus, something like that. Adolphus played for the Ravens. Adolphus something, man. Bro, I tried to do that to me. He stuck his hand right up underneath my chest. Boom, locked me out. I'm like, oh. I was like, oh, what's going on? You keep moving that head. I don't care where you put the head. I'm putting these hands right in your chest. I try to do it again. Boom, oh. From that point on, I'm just going straight ahead. Shh, bam, just hit him in the mouth, man. But, certain guys, you could head fake them and do stuff like that. But he wasn't playing, man.
Man, some guys are just those veteran guys, like I told you, man, playing against Jackie Slater or a guy like Dennis Hara, or you're playing against some of these guys like Anthony Munoz, and man, they're so dominant and so powerful. Like I'll tell you, Deeds, what was it? Mike Munchak. Holy crap, man. I mean, strong, quick.
I heard it was strong, yeah.
Powerful. I mean, and you know who the dude next to him was Bruce Matthews. Here I am playing nose, Barrett.
Wow.
No idea. Like, I go, all I was doing was this. Hey, I just kept hearing somebody in my ear go, make a pile. Hey, make a pile, man. These are two, Hall of Fame type players, man. And Bruce was so good. He was so fast, so quick. I mean, and just a big man. He's a big man like you. And this guy played center, guard. I think he made all pro at center, guard, and tackle, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
He was just incredible. I got to ask you this other question here. I don't know if you've ever blocked for a guy like this. So the drama that's going on in Green Bay now, and Aaron Rodgers and all this stuff, probably more is being made of it because the media likes to, weave these tales. We don't really know what's going on inside the locker room. By the way, they have won 39 ball games in the last 3 years. Okay, I mean, there's something to that. And they've made the playoffs. They went to 2 NFC championship games. But with a guy like that, with that kind of personality, did it ever rub you the wrong way on blocking for a guy who was a tool? Did you ever have to do that, even though you knew the guy, you needed him to have success? Because you always hear people saying, well, not everybody on the team likes him. The offensive line, if there's one thing I could tell people, what they love is this. They're going to protect their quarterback no matter what. And when a day you don't see, like in a Cleveland game this last year, I saw Baker Mayfield get knocked out of bounds by somebody, and that one old lineman went over there and picked him up. It did anything. That doesn't go down. Like when Joe Burrow got knocked out of bounds by Aaron Donald in the Super Bowl, one thing about that offensive line with the with the Bengals, they went over there and they started pushing people around, and it got into a little Donnybrook. That's the majority of the time that you'll see an offensive line. Nobody's going to hit the quarterback no matter what. That's their guy. They need to move him. He needs to move the chains for them, and they're going to protect him. Did you ever have to block for a guy you didn't like?
You know what? When Ben, later on in Ben's career, he got better, but he didn't have a lot of guys that were in his corner his first couple of years in the league. Because he had so much success so quick. He won like 13 straight games his first year, so he started smelling himself a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So guys,
same thing like Peyton in Indianapolis. he would get on his O-line, Barrett, and say this, hey, we need to block better. And finally, somebody like Jeff Saturday went to him and said, you need to shut up, dude.
Right. So it was a time there when the O-line didn't care much for him. They blocked for him, but they didn't care much for him. But he eventually changed and became a better leader on that team. But it took him a while to really notice that he was getting on everybody's damn nerves. There were guys that that you would fight a brick wall for, like Charlie Batch. You'd fight a brick wall for him. Then you had a guy like Gus Frerotte. He was just the guy. You know what I'm saying? He was just the guy. Did I play with somebody that would throw you under the bus? Not really. Usually the quarterback know where their bread is buttered.
But would all that drama bug you that's going on? If you were a lineman,
yes. If I was a lineman for Green Bay, I'd be like, yo, man, chill out. But when I say something to him, no, especially not to him. The best he's probably the best quarterback in the league. When I say something to him, nah, A-Rod can pretty much do what he wants to do.
But the group would talk about it, you think?
Oh, yeah. We talk about everything. I mean, it was times where Ricky Waters used to get on our nerves. I mean, I remember one time, and like I said, I'm always talking about Guy Mack, because like I said, he was most influential in my life to start off as far as me being a pro. He taught me how to be a pro. Well, we would be blocking for, Ricky, and he'd have 9 yards, have 8 yards, then he'd have 3 yards, and they'll have 6 yards. And then we'll get a ball to Charlie will come in. We get a ball to Charlie. Charlie rip off an 80-yarder or a 30-yarder. So they end up at the end of the game, both backs have 200 yards. I mean, have 100 yards. But, Charlie would have it in 5 carries, and it would take, 16 or 17 carries for maybe even 20 carries for Ricky to get it. So it was times we'd be in the game, and Charlie will bust a 30-yarder, and then Ricky come back in, he'll get a 5-yarder. And he jumped up one time, threw the ball down. Hey, y'all ain't blocking for me like y'all blocking for Charlie. Oh, man. Guy Mack.
He would say that to you just like out and out, just go, hey, why you guys giving this guy love and not me?
Bro, it turned out being almost a brawl inside the huddle, because Guy Mack and Ed West, we used to call him Toolbox, Ed West, tight end, they cussed him out. They yanked him out. In fact, they kicked him out of the game. Told Charlie to come back in. Because he was like, man, we block just as hard, but Charlie just needs this much room, and you need this much room. That's why it's happening. It ain't because of us, it's because of you.
John Gruden loved Charlie Gardner.
Bro, you could give Charlie would tell us this. Hey, man, all you got to do is put a head on him. If you put your hat on him, I'll do the rest. You ain't got to drive them down the field or put them on their back. No, just have your body in between me and the defender. I'll do the rest. And you give him that much room, he was going to take it to the house, man. That's how good he was.
Aaron Rodgers wants $50 million per year. That's a new report coming out of Green Bay. He wants $50 million, according to Pro Football Talk and NBC, that he's looking at $50 million. That's $5 more million, which is substantial, than Patrick Mahomes, and he wants a 3-year contract. I find it hard to believe, Barrett, that all this charade the last 2 years was over money. Nope. I mean, I never got the Jordan Love thing. How could that bug you? And by the way, so all know, everybody at some time or another has had a guy drafted at their position higher than they were drafted. And it's always because we're the most insecure people on the planet, professional football players, because of this. The organizations make you feel that way.
Yep. That's how they keep
their
you going.
objective.
That's how keep going.
Right? Isn't that the one thing, Barrett, that the NFL has over the other sports? They keep you on that edge knowing that they could get rid of you and your contract at any time. Whereas if you're a James Harden or you're a Kevin Durant, dude, you get $250 million signed, you can look at your boss and tell him to go to hell. Right. It won't matter. You got to pay him. We can't do that, and they keep you on edge for that. So
you heard what I said yesterday. I said, hey, 5 minutes after you sign that contract, 5 minutes after they sign it, the ink's not even dry yet, and they're trying to find somebody bigger, stronger, faster, younger, and cheaper than you. So, I mean, that's just the nature of the beast.
He wants $50 million at 38. And according to Pro Football Talk 2 NBC, there's been a number of teams that have called Green Bay and asked to put a trade package together. And again, we're now in the land of misinformation, and also we're in the land of people trying to better their football team. So don't get anybody's panties in a bind here with this. This is what teams do. This is what leagues do. This is what GMs do because of the uncertainty what's going on. If that were me and I was making a call to Green Bay and say I was Denver, because that looks like a landing spot potentially for Aaron Rodgers, I'd have to get a massive commitment. Wouldn't you, Barrett, that he wasn't going to go there and just play 1 year and call it a career, and I'm giving up draft choices for that.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of things that go. And you know what's, too, for the record, when you're hearing people say stuff about Rodgers, you really think Green Bay's going to send him to a place where he wants to go?
Right.
They're going to send him, right, to a place where they're going to get the best deal. See, everyone's always under the assumption that, well, hell, he'll go to Tampa Bay, he'll go to Denver. Man, you're making it sound like Aaron Rodgers has all the cards. He's still got years on his contract. Green Bay got this guy by the shorts, so you know that. They're not going to send him to pacify him in the way that how he's handled himself. It's almost like a reincarnation of Brett Favre at the end of his time when Brett was in Green Bay, isn't it? It reminds you of the same stuff, right?
Well, you look at it, man, and they have his contract. So regardless of what happens, if he retires, he's going to retire in Green Bay because at the end of the day, they still hold his rights. He couldn't go anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they hold his rights. So you retire if you want to. It's not like you can come back and say, oh, I'm just Josh, I'm going here. No, they have your rights. So since they have your rights, he's going to have to play in Green Bay. That's why I never thought that he was going to go anywhere in Green Bay, but I also thought they weren't going to go Carson wasn't going to go anywhere either. I mean, I would have never thought, you could have bought me with a wooden nickel that Carson would have gone to Indianapolis and they would leave a cap hit for $34 million on a roster. That's unheard of, man, but they did it. I can't see them trading or letting, A-Rod go at this point. They've done too much to try to pacify him. Too much. They brought players in.
They've been over for the guy.
Yep.
I think they're going to give him the $50 million, but I don't think it's 3 years. So I think it'll be 2 and an option.
Yep. I think so also. And to be quite honest, that's going to be the going rate for these young quarterbacks that are going up for deals this next couple of years. That's going to be like the starting spot for what these Bro, Patrick Mahomes signed a contract for $10 million. 10 years. $500 million. That's a half.
$45
billion, man.
45 per as an average for the next 10 years he's going to make. And it starts, by the way, this year.
This year.
This year, because the new CBA, you know what, too, Barrett, that new CBA, people don't realize. I've read the CBA, and now it's so team-friendly because remember those contracts that you had with Todd Gurley and Clay Matthews Jr. with the Rams? How much money they owed him when they cut him?
Yep.
Well, now, having talked to Les Snead, they could take some of the remaining money that's dead money that's on their salary cap. They get to defer this out like 20 years now if you have dead cap money. So say the Carson Wentz deal a year ago with the Eagles. The Eagles now can take that money over the next 20 years and defer that money out so that it lowers your cap hit with having dead money, which means now you're going to be able to keep your rosters more intact now.
Exactly.
Okay? You're going to be able to cut loose of players that are on big contracts now because you're going to be able to defer that. So I think you're going to see more roster movement, Barrett. You're not going to have to sit around and go like this. I got to keep Matt Ryan because he's got the biggest – I saw that today. He's got the biggest cap hit number of anybody if they end up cutting him or they end up moving off of Matt Ryan. It's like $60 million.
What?
Right. It's some psychotic number that they have, and there's no way that the Falcons are going to move off of that contract because they're in salary cap hell because of the purgatory, or this was a year ago, but now that's $68 million. I could defer that over the next 20 years. Get this. The Falcons now can move off of Matt Ryan. So Matt Ryan is a former MVP. To me, he's the closest thing to Matt Stafford.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
My point would be this: if you're going to move a guy like Matt Ryan, if I'm not mistaken, too, he's from up in that neck of the woods, too. How about this? Matt Ryan, former MVP, doesn't he remind you of Matt Stafford? The Eagles, Falcons pick up some of his contract. Would the Eagles look at somebody like that? I don't know what his age is. I think he's 33, maybe. I think Matt Ryan's like 33. I don't know exactly what his age is. But Matt Ryan, the problem in Atlanta hasn't been Matt Ryan. The problem in Atlanta has been their defense, not being able to stop people.
Yep.
Would you take a look at Matt Ryan if you're the Eagles at a potential guy?
That's kind of the quarterback that they want anyways. They want a drop back quarterback and just sling it all day long. They really don't want this run game that they develop. That's not what, they want Eagles football to look like. They want a pass happy, get the ball down the field type of offense. They just haven't drafted as such.
So they hate what they see in Tennessee when they see a guy like Derrick Henry.
They hate what they saw the last half of the season. They like the production, but they hated seeing, their offense being the way it was.
But then they're moving off of Jalen.
I don't know. It hasn't been about if Jalen is a good enough quarterback to play in the NFL. It's more so they want to be Belichick-esque when they had, a drop back quarterback in Tom. That's what they want. They want a high flying, get the ball down the field, kind of like what the Rams do, what, all these young quarterbacks that, they see are doing right now. They don't want a run-orientated offense. They hate that, actually. That's what they want, a drop-back quarterback. It's just they haven't been good enough, to be where they are right now. They haven't. If you
put Matt Ryan on that Eagle offense, you're talking about then wide receivers that are free agents and potential people that would want to come and play there.
Yep.
Because Matt Ryan is a guy that prior to Stafford winning the Super Bowl this year, I think they were kind of the same thing. But however, remember, Ryan got to a Super Bowl. He's won an MVP, actually. He's had more of a productive career than what Matthew Stafford has actually had. I think he's got a winning record also as a starting quarterback in the NFL. So you're talking now because of this new CBA, it's good. My point I'm making here, Barrett, is that you're going to be able to get more latitude now with certain teams. Like, say you want to call Atlanta up. Atlanta's got this number. Defer it. They pick up some of the number. Like we were talking with Fletcher Cox in the last hour. They pick up some of that number. Say they pick up 15, 20% of the Matt Ryan contract. They defer the rest of it out. You're able to send this guy to Philadelphia, and you end up sending back, I don't know, what would you surrender for Matt Ryan? I don't know if I'm giving a 1 up. I may give up a 2. I may give up a 3 for the guy. Do you think he commands a 1? He's 36.
No, he doesn't command a 1. It's definitely no lower than a 2 or a 3.
But get this. You got a guy who's kind of in the room with Stafford for a 2. You keep your 3s, 3 1s.
It puts you in a conversation that if you build around him, if you get him a couple of receivers, he can hose it. He can throw the ball, and you'll have a steady running game to protect him a little bit. Now he can run that play action and push the ball down the field. It could work, but I doubt seriously if they'll make a move like that. I doubt seriously.
How about something like, if people are saying, I take Jimmy G over Matt Ryan, I wouldn't. What's your take on Jimmy G?
I think he's.
How about hang on? Let's get that after the timeout here. Let's do that after the timeout. I want to get your thoughts on Jimmy Garoppolo. He's 36-16,
right,
as a starting quarterback, and everyone goes, he sucks. All right, hey, keep it here on the middle. Barrett Brooks, Cilio in for Harry Mays.